Hi, this is Patrizio Mameli from the Dutch progressive death metal band and fusion band Pestilence, and you are listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. I'd like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio for its 13th anniversary.
Okay, Patrick, welcome back to the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Yeah, man, it's great to be back, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Giving you the welcome. I mean, I remember it have been like 3 years ago, I think, yes, when they had this great opportunity. That was somewhere in April 2018, couple of months after you have released your album back then in 2018, Hadeon, your 7th full-length album, which was released on January 26, 2018 via Hammerheart Records at the time. And by the way, I'd like to congratulate you for your new album, Exitivm, which will be released on June 25th, 2021 via this prestige Agonia Records. Patrick, how are you doing, first of all? And yeah, how was it, your experience, be making an album on such a weird fucking time with this pandemic?
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is that I saw this pandemic coming already. I've seen the signs and stuff like that, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to release an album that is like fully dedicated to the way this society is heading towards, because as you know, Pestilence has always been on the foreground of the death metal experience, always trying to evolve into something new and always try to give the fans some new musical information out there. So as this pandemic was moving along, it kind of fitted the style of the new album. The new album is called Exitivm, which means total destruction in Latin, and lyrical aspect really has to do with what is happening right now to us, everybody. So in that respect, this album might be something for everybody to have maybe a musical aspect to the stuff that is happening right now. So if you would have to have a death metal tune to current situation, Exitivm would be the album to listen to, really. It talks about the frustration, it talks about how modern day society has evolved into this technocratic reality where everything evolves around technical aspect of everything, how everything is going, less social contacts, just everything is more into your own little bubble where you live your own little existence. And I guess this is something that is kind of bothering me. So that's why the album became very, very dark and eerie. And as you might have noticed, my vocals have been very aggressive and brutal. It is out of total frustration of this modern day society.
But before we continue with what this new album is about, Patrick, but how have you lived it? You and all your loved ones have lived with this, this last 2 years.
The thing is, it didn't bother me that much because I live my own life. So I live in a very small bubble myself where I cherish my kids, where I cherish my wife, and where I cherish my band and my music. So I'm always have been somewhat of a loner. So in this respect, me sitting in my little home studio creating music for the masses, this has not changed. For people, it has been a lockdown. For me, it has been just more of the same, just being locked down in my studio, which is no problem for me at all, really.
Let me tell you one thing. Like, I'm on the same situation like you. I'm always here locked down in my room, doing interviews, working on my shows, so nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed for the last 2 years, I couldn't go to festivals. But besides that, with this pandemic, I had the chance to work more and to do so much more interview because the bands, the guys, they are like, they're home just doing interviews.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. It made you more productive in a way that you are even more involved with your own work and your dedication because of this understanding that the happiness of going outside and going to shows and watching bands play live and have great time just going to shows, this has been taken away from us. So we have better to find an alternative in the meantime until stuff gets rolling again. And I am so happy to hear that a lot of states have been opening up, especially my friends in Florida and Texas, they are going back to normal without the mask mandates and stuff like this. So I have this feeling that the world is opening up again, and hopefully, within the next few months, we can start thinking about doing shows again.
Wow, that's very great, but we're going to talk about that later on. But we cannot continue with this interview, Patrick, without asking you about the success the band had with the 2018 album Hadeon. How was the album being accepted worldwide, and how was the shows and festivals done in promotion of this album?
Well, the thing is that for me, every Pestilence album is as valid as the next album. So when I create an album, when it's released, I'm very happy about the album, of course. But there has been some changes. I went back playing guitar 8-string, going back to 6-string, and Hadeon, I think it was a little bit more accessible for the Testimony of the Ancients fans. So in that respect, looking back to this album, it had more references back to the old glory days when we recorded Testimony of the Ancients. So the fans really, really liked it. But as you might know as well, I never do something twice. So I always try to expand myself. And Hadeon is like maybe with a few extra new ingredients, and we modernize the sound a little bit instead of going back and trying to recreate the sound that we had on Testimony. So the song structures and stuff like that has more similarities to Testimony of the Ancients, and that's why it's been a huge success for us, not only for us, but for the record company as well, for everybody involved.
You still remember the trips done for in promotion, the live gigs for this album?
Well, for me, it's more of the same, because what I always found is that the fans, even though they are open to new music, they always want to hear the old tunes, right? They always want to hear Out of the Body. They always want to hear songs of Testimony of the Ancients. So we always have to try to find the balance within the new and with the old songs. So we always try to mix it up a little bit. And yeah, the fans accepted it, and they really enjoyed this album as well, because it, like I said, it referred back to the old days. We have this capability to be this creative because we are such good musicians, really, actually. I always try to play with the best musicians available at the moment, and so they can represent Pestilence in the way it should be.
Okay, before we turn the page over and end this cycle of Hadeon, how was your experience working with Hammerheart?
Well, it was okay because we worked very closely together on re-releasing our first albums, and with those releases came Hadeon as well. So we had a nice package going on, and like I always say, I don't want to hang around with one record label too long. I've had very bad experiences sticking around with Roadrunner and Road Racer. So when it was time to move on, it was time to move on. And now I was approached by Agonia Records, and they've been really, really good to me. Let's see what happens next.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Pestilence is a death metal band from the Netherlands, founded in 1986. Later, they incorporate more jazz and fusion elements into their music. They released 4 albums before disbanded in order to pursue other musical direction in 1994. The band reformed in 2008 and released their first studio album in 15 years, Resurrection Macabre, in 2009, which you on vocals, Patrick, Tony Choi on bass, and Peter Wildur on drums. Something I did not ask you when we met in 2018, Patrick. How was the band being received by all the fans from all over the world after you come back, especially starting doing live shows and releasing this album in 2009, Resurrection Macabre?
Well, this album was very special to me because after a hiatus of 15 years where I just said goodbye to music in general, and I started pursuing just a regular career in finances, actually. I've been working in finance businesses for the longest time. And as you know, all these numbers, they drive you crazy after a while because, I'm a musician. And so when I came back, I refound myself and I found this new energy in making music again, especially for the fans, because, you have to understand there was this long gap. There was also a gap for the fans there. The fans, they were disappointed that we went away from the scene and there would be no next Pestilence. So people kept sending me messages and emails and stuff like that, like, when are you returning and this and that. I mean, this was already a year after I quit, So this has been constantly with me where people are asking me all these questions. And I'm not talking about 10 or 15 emails. I'm talking about hundreds of emails of people trying to get a hold of me, trying to understand what's happening. And I always have to tell them the truth, telling them that I'm fed up with the music industry as it was, where the band is struggling so hard and the record companies make a ton of money. And even when you get tour support, you got to pay back the tour support. When you record an album, you got to repay first for the cost of recording the album. And all these things and all these emotions that come with that just wanted me to quit. So I quit. And after that, it took me 15 years to come back. I came back with Resurrection Macabre. It's one of the darkest albums that I've done. It was very aggressive, very brutal. And working with these musicians have been a blessing, of course, because, Tony Choi is a very good bass player. And also Peter Wildoer from Darkane is a very, very good drummer. He's got a very nice touch to it and very dynamic and stuff like this. And then the fans ask me, how come you always change your lineup? It's not like we get into fights and then I fire everybody and then I got to start over again. It's just that all these guys that I have been working with, they all also have their own projects, their main bands that they work with. Peter Wildoer's got Darkane. Tony Choi had Atheist. So I couldn't keep these guys for long, only for the album and then maybe for a tour. And we toured for Resurrection Macabre as well, which was one of the most successful tours for Pestilence, actually, because we got to play the bigger festivals, and which was just totally amazing for us.
That's very great. For you to explain how was the band being received after so many years in hiatus. I'm sure you got tons of millions of letters requesting you to bring back the band to life.
Yeah, definitely. And, and obviously the demand was there. And as I was getting all these messages, I really started thinking, if I can still be a person that can do something for the death metal scene, if I'm still valid enough, then I'll come back and I'll reduce the things that I've done actually for all my life. I've been playing guitar since I was 4 years old. And I've been doing this now for 35 years. I mean, because it comes from the heart. Death metal comes from the heart. It's something that you can't explain. It's just there.
Okay, I'd like to say hi to Tony Choi. I got a chance to interview he joined Voracious Scorch, this great death metal band. And I'd like to say hi to Jason McIntyre, the man behind this great band. Okay, yes, Patrick, to move forward, completely new lineup compared to the one done on the 2018 album Hadeon. And I'm talking about a new lineup with superstars like yourself, Patrick, on vocals and guitars, and Rvtger Van Noordenbvrg, ex-Bleeding Gods, ex-Blood for Me, whom we had a great chance to interview as well, and on guitars as well, and Joost Van Der Graaf on bass, ex-Sinister, and we also had this great opportunity to interview Joost for You Sentient, and also when he was with IKEAS. And last but not least, I'm talking about Michiel Van Der Plicht, ex-Got His Own Live with Karat Angram, whom we interview as well, and so many other great bands on drums. Yes, how did you get all these superstars together, on board?
It's always a big challenge to find people that have the time and within their own schedule to participate in my project, which is Pestilence. The thing is that this time I really wanted to have an all-star Dutch band. I have been working with all kinds of people all over the world and all over the place. Dave Haley from Psychroptic, he played on Obsideo. But these long musical relationships where people live, in a different part of the world, it's just really difficult to uphold a musical relationship with, because they have their own lives, and as well, they got their own, their wives, their kids and stuff like that. So they have their own social things going on as well. So I figured this time I need an all Dutch lineup. It started when Bleeding Gods was opening up for Pestilence, and I noticed Rvtger. I knew the guy that he's been playing guitar and doing all this stuff. And every night I saw him perform, and he was always full of energy and very professional. So I just asked the guy if he wanted to join me in Pestilence. And since he knows pretty much everybody in the scene, this guy, he told me, what if we try to ask this guy, try to ask this guy? So we didn't have to put any advertisement up, like, ask people, that we are looking for a bass player or we're looking for a drummer. It just came about that Rvtger knows a lot of people, and then I just asked them. And for some reason, when I ask people, they always say yes. So that's kind of easy for me that it's like this. So the band was formed, and we didn't even have to practice that much. I just gave them the tunes, and everybody's like, just knowing what to do. That's one of the things that I really ask from the guys, to musicians that they are as good as the music asks them to be. So they have to be very talented, and all these guys, they filled in the gap, and it has been awesome. Exitivm has been the most energetic album I have released ever. I mean, I'm very proud of this album. Usually I am a little bit more I'm very critical about my own music, but this time I couldn't find too many mistakes, so I'm very happy.
Yes, I mean, I'm very, very pleased and happy, to see all these great musicians coming out of the Netherlands, Dutch friends, all of them, good friend of mine as well, like you, together.
Yeah, I mean, Holland is such a small little country, and there comes so much talent that comes from there. The one thing that I really love about the Dutch people is that they don't have air. They are very grounded people. They're down to earth, and they don't think that they're all rock stars and stuff. They're just like regular guys and stuff, and sometimes I got to pinch myself wow, man, I'm working with these guys, and these guys are just amazing. And it benefits me as well because I can put my point across, and these guys translate my music so well. So it's awesome.
I always go to all these venues in the Netherlands, enjoying all these great bands, all these great talented, and some of them are well-known bands, but some of them, especially when you go to small festivals in small towns, I see these guys playing, Patrick. I say, but where are the guys? Where these guys has to be more in the highlight. They are so professional, so great, talented musicians, and you never heard from them.
Yeah, this is a global thing. It's because there's so much information out there that it's like sometimes there's too much information. So there are too many bands out there that get snowed under. Yeah, because of all this information that's out there, you don't know where to look. And sometimes when you go to like a local club, then you see some people playing, and you're like, wow, why aren't these guys famous, right?
Yeah.
But luckily nowadays you can record yourself. You can have your own little home studio, and you start recording your music. And even without a record label, if you're smart, you can release your own stuff. And I think this is a big plus that nowadays with this modern day technology, you can do so much yourself, and you can't be lazy anymore. You gotta work. You gotta work hard. I was very lucky, to be honest. Like all these other bands that started back in the 80s, with the Florida death metal when it boomed. And we were just lucky to be lifting off of that as well, as the European answer to death.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to be back in Holland, to go to festivals like, all these death fests all over in Holland, and to festivals like Stonehenge, Into the Grave, Eindhoven Metal Meeting, Dynamo, all these great festivals, to see you guys, play, together. This will be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Let's hope that this pandemic stuff will end really soon, and everybody will get back to normal so we can start enjoying music again, because that's my point of being. It's like making music and making people happy with my music. Not just me, but all these bands out there, they need to go out there and play live. And I just want to see all these happy faces, man. And that's what it's all about, just one big happy family like it used to be back in the good old days.
Yes, back in 1986, in a small town of Enschede in the Netherlands near the German border, a true metal phenomenon was born. More than 3 decades later, not only is Pestilence alive and well, but about to once again, Patrick, reaffirm its place in the extreme metal fandom with Exitivm, which is Latin word for total destruction, as you just said. Patrick, I can't wait to hear the whole album, but tell us, for the diehard fans, what can they expect? How about new fans?
Well, first off, what I want to suggest to the newer fans and to metal fans in general that never heard of Pestilence, which I think is an impossibility, really, because this name has been around for 35 years. If you haven't heard Pestilence before, where have you been all your life, right? So the thing is that I would start using the internet to go back to 1986 and 84, 85 and see who were the godfathers of death metal. I'm talking about Possessed, I'm talking about Death, I'm talking about these bands, and then work your way up and find who has been there in that little circle of giants, and then you will find that Pestilence has been there as well. So we have been trying to make a name for 35 years, and I think with Exitivm, what you can expect is total destruction. And I'm talking about something that is unheard of before, because this album has it all. It has dramatic interludes, it has the eerie soundscapes, it has the great drumming of Michiel Van Der Plicht, it has the awesome bass playing, which is just wow, this guy is all over the place. So this album has like 10 songs, and none of these songs are alike. So it's like a real journey that you have to listen to the whole album. It's not like, okay, when you hear the first song, second song is pretty similar, so you can skip song 2. No, every song has a story to tell, and this comes with the lyrics to go to. So it's like just a movie, but it's like a horror movie.
Patrick, Pestilence premiered a music video last April 15 for the first new song titled Marbus Propagandation. It's the first song taken off the band's new album Exitivm. The band, second, once again, for those who don't know, the second official video over 3 decades after Lands of Tears in 1991. The video was filmed by Grupa 13 production house, who also worked with creator Behemoth, Emonamart, and with costume by Pre-Post Evolution. How was the making of this video gone, and have you worked with Grupa 13 production house and Pre-Post Evolution before?
No. The thing is I was always very impressed with the videos of Behemoth. And as these guys are Polish, the filmmakers, my label is Polish. So I figured these guys know each other. And I knew that there was a possibility for us to record a music video clip. And I just told Philip, the label boss, I want to work with Grupa 13. So it was no problem. He knew the guys. And so they made a nice deal. And the rest is history. I knew this was going to be epic, especially because, me loving the videos of Behemoth so much. And Land of Tears is a classic video, so I knew I had to do something with this great atmosphere that Land of Tears has. So we came up with the storyline for this one, and it's above all my expectations. And especially because when I look at music videos in general of, the death metal genre, it seems to be like it always have to do something with zombies, with gore, with blood, with murder and aggression, stuff like this. So we figured we take it a little bit into a different direction, more into this new futuristic type of stuff, which I explained with the technocratic reality that we are living in right now. And there is a slight little reference to the pandemic. So I figured it, because it's like the modern day problem that we are facing right now, this would make a lot of sense without politicizing stuff, because I have to really stress out that Pestilence is not a political band, nor we don't want to politicize our music. That's what I'm trying to say, So everybody is entitled to have their own opinion, and so does Pestilence.
Patrick, do you believe that there will be another promotional video to be released before the album comes out?
Yes. The first one was Morbus Propagationem, and the second video will be Daificus, which is the second song on the album. Actually, the third song, if you count in the intro.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And would you like to premiere here? When will be the date that it will be premiered?
Yes, I think it will be the 25th. So in a couple of days, it will be released upon the website. Yeah. It's the 22nd now, so the 25th will be out.
Okay.
And to be honest, you have the premiere because I haven't spoken about second video yet. So you have the premiere.
Patrick, after having released your first album back, when the band returned, Resurrection Macabre in 2009, and in 2011, Doctrine, both with the Dutch Mascot Records, followed by Obsideo in 2013 with the British label Candlelight Records, and last in 2018, Hadeon with the Dutch Hammerheart Record. This time, you are working with the Polish Agonia Record, as you were saying. I like to thank Bartek as well as you for making this great interview possible. Yes, Bartek from Agonia Record. How was the deal with Agonia Records gone, and how are you feeling working with them?
Like I said, it was a very special moment for a record label to ask me instead of a band going to a record label. So they approached me, and when we started talking about my vision and what I wanted to do, because I'm much more outspoken now than I was back in the days, when you were really happy just to have a record deal in the first place. But, as I got a little bit more smart and wise about how things work in the business, this time I'll make sure that it's Pestilence that is on top of their game and not number one. The thing is that I never want to be one of those bands from a major label. So I picked a label that is not too small, but not too big. So I would be their number one band. You know, Bartek and Philip, they are such great guys. We have contact every day. This is crazy. I mean, these guys, they contact me and they ask me about everything. You know, I get samples of everything before merchandise or anything will get released. So they're actually working with me, which is unheard of in the industry. Normally, a record label just tells a band, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. So I feel very much involved with my new Polish friends, and I'm very happy with Agonia Records, to say the least, yes.
Yeah, talking about this album, I mean, we go now over what the music is about. The album has been produced like all Pestilence album by you, Patrizio Mameli, co-produced and recorded, mixed and mastered by Joost Van. How was the writing and recording process gone this time for this new album with this new lineup, and what's done differently compared to Hadeon, Patrick?
Well, like you said, I always, starting up from Resurrection Macabre, I write the lyrics and I write all the music. So I want to keep the Pestilence style, you know, solid and without any contamination, without any involvement from the outside and maybe try something else. And no, I want to keep Pestilence, you know, this style, I want to keep it pure. This has not changed at all. The thing that has changed for Exitivm is that I let another guy co-produce together with me because I felt very comfortable with Joost Van. Joost Van is also a guitar player and he plays in Shinigami together with Rvtger. So he knew Jori, and Jori has his own studio. So this was very easy for me to take that challenge and see what it would bring us. And as I started to get to know Jori, he's a very fine gentleman. He's a very nice guy and he knows his music. So he has an understanding of what I want to achieve. So I let him help me and it came out like really nice. And for me, that's like a nice pointer for the next album to work together with Jori again. So, and the recordings were just like, it's almost like, because his studio is in his house, it was almost just like going to visit somebody. Oh man, it's just, and it was so relaxed. It's like, oh man, we have to record too, you know? It's like we have put ourselves to record because it was just like hanging out and having a good time, having great conversations about anything. It's like, we have to do some work as well. Okay, well, just let's do that then. So, and it was like, it was such a very nice environment, and it was just like it was a jiffy, man. It was just like too easy to record there, and everybody is like so helpful, you know. And it's the same. Everybody in the band now, I have a special relationship with, which I never had before with any other lineup. Which this time I do have it. It's just awesome. So the songs are written by me. I give the guys the songs, like the structure, and I'll just let those guys roam free because they are very talented. So I didn't have to really explain anything. One of my demands is that when I work with somebody, he has to know his music. I don't feel like I have to explain everything. You can just, you know, if you want the sheet music, you can get it. But if you can do everything by ear, that is fine with me as well, as long as you get it done, right? So these guys are just like, they're all so amazing, man. And it's like, it's too easy. It's too easy, actually. And for Michiel recorded all his drums in his own little studio. And then we took all the files to Jori and we worked everything in Reaper. That's about it.
Talking about cover artwork, once again, you brought the band's icon spear, and it was done by Michael Zay Laurent, known for his various cover artwork with Nile, Goddy Throne, and Evocation, to mention some, and who previously has worked with on the album Hadeon. How was it this time gone working with Michael? Yes, again, I remember that problem that you encountered last time doing this cover artwork for Hadeon about this plagiarism. Everything has working fine this time?
The thing with that plagiarism thing, we didn't know that this was happening. So when we got contacted by the guy that created the artwork, right away we deleted what we had. So we had to have an alternative. Me being smart enough, I always have a second thing going. So we had the Michael Zay album cover. We had it already almost done as well. So we could just shift from one to the other. Yeah, so we used him for Hadeon and it got received really well. You know, also this guy is Polish. So again, another Polish guy that Philip and Agonia Records knew. So it's easier to work with him again. And he came up with this, you know, I always come up with the idea, but he came up with this nice layout of Exitivm. And then, you know, it just fits the music so well, you know, incorporating the mechanical ball again, as usual. This time he made a very nice version of the mechanical ball. I'm very happy with this. And everybody actually that I've talked to think it's a very impressive, very detailed album cover.
I love the cover artwork for Hadeon done by Michael. And when I saw this for the first time, Exitivm, I said, wow, it must be Michael again.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's his thing, man. What he can do is he can translate my ideas so much into the digital world. He's a master at this, and we didn't have to go back and forth a lot. He just did it, It's just like awesome. Yeah, definitely.
A new album on a new label, armed with a whole new lineup and a new dynamic, no matter what. Pestilence, or more specifically, the maestro himself, Patrizio Mameli, are like the phoenix rising from the ashes over and over again. 3 years after Hadeon, the band and their totally revamped lineup not only proved to be worthy of its golden legacy, but actually deliver with Exitivm what is probably their best incarnation in over a decade, with a kind of insanity recognizable sound that will immediately make all a testimony of Asian fans drooling with anticipation, while proving they are not a nostalgia act but are living in the now. Okay, so those that has not ordered this great new masterpiece as yet, you better hurry up and do so. Exitivm will be available in various formats, Patrick, including a super limited picture, pinwheel, firebrand, and in different vinyl version. Please explain us more.
Well, the thing is that Agonia Records wanted to go all out with this new album because this album deserves it so much. So they went all out with the vinyl, with the picture disc, with the merchandise. So they did so much their best to cater to the needs of the fans, really, because of course we have the cover with the ants, the face and the ants. Everybody, it's a classic, right? And Testimony of the Ancients is a classic. So they wanted to emphasize that this album, is going to be a classic. It's their words. Not my words, it's their words. And I feel exactly the same about it. And I'm so happy that Agonia Records understand the necessity of putting out all these great items for the fans, really. I'm a little bit jealous because all these pre-orders are going out. I think we already sold 10,000 in pre-orders just after listening to one song.
Wow.
Fans have to trust that this album is going to be Pestilence's best effort. So, and I'm really jealous because everybody's ordering and I don't have anything. I don't even have one vinyl yet. I don't have a merchandise t-shirt yet. So please send us some over so we can wear this stuff when we do our live stream June 4th, which is going to be a live stream of Pestilence playing live.
Don't talk too much, man. Talk too much, Patrick. Okay, yes, I can't wait to have the album. I can't wait to have a t-shirt. Yes, how about t-shirt, Patrick? And how many sizes or how many forms you're going to have t-shirt as well available?
Well, pretty much any size. Well, not any size, but, from going from small to extra, extra large will be available with front and back print.
Yeah,
full color. And not just that, man. We will have it all. We will have the pins. We will have like the bandanas, like I said, the t-shirts to go with that. I think there's two versions of it, like one with the album cover and one with the more traditional but totally new design where we take the mummies from Testimony of the Ancients that is incorporated into this new one. So it's totally awesome. You can check that out on www.exitivm.com. Agonia Records made a website just for this, so where you can order all these beautiful items.
Yeah, I see that you also have long sleeves. You have hoodies. Very awesome.
It looks professional, right? It looks really awesome.
Yeah. So these are already available order?
Yes, like I said, pre-order have been going, and some of the items have been already sold out, so they're reprinting, they're redoing it. That's why Agonia says be quick, so you can be with the first batch, going out. Also, what fans need to understand is that you can also order from indie merch store. It's still Agonia Records. You can order these, and it's from the state, so you don't have to pay all these postal, because I know postal services, it's very expensive to get these packages out. Some packages cost $60 just to get the package from Europe to, which I think is a lot of money. So we made sure that all our American fans will get it at the indie merch store.
Progressive death metal, jazz fusion, Pestilence have been in the heavy top of many years and are internationally recognized as one of the innovators of the genre. On June 25th, the band finally released their long-awaited album Exitivm, of which material on this live stream in part the Hague, Netherlands exclusively already will be heard. Yeah, you don't want to miss this one on June 4th. Talking about this one, stream live you was talking about, Patrick, but especially for our Dutch audience, let me just switch over in the Netherlands. Iconen uit de death metal scene, Pestilence draaien al heel wat jaren mee in de heavy metal top en worden internationaal erkend als een van innovators van het genre. Op 25 juni release de band eindelijk hun lang verwachte album Exitivm, waarvan materiaal bij deze livestream in Paard Den Haag, Nederland, exclusief al te horen zal zijn. Dit wil je niet missen op 4 juni. Patrick, this coming June 4th at the Park in Den Haag, Netherlands. The band will be doing a streaming show. Please tell us more about this.
You want me to do it in English, right?
In English, yes. And if you want to repeat for our Dutch listeners, yes.
Yes, because I see that there is a growing demand. Like it's not certain what's happening with live shows. That we've seen the Obituary doing it, being successful with it. We've seen some other bands doing it, and we figured why not do the same. The only thing that is different is that Pestilence will not charge their fans any money to go and watch this live show, because we know that everybody is struggling. The band is struggling financially. Everybody is struggling financially. So we make this live stream accessible for everybody in the world to log in and, watch Pestilence play live. And also we will play 4 new songs for y'all, and also some newer, older songs that we haven't played ever live. So this will be a nice treat for everybody. And then the album release, the 25th of June, will be the crown to our work for this year.
So if you like to invite all our Dutch listeners in our language, Dutch.
Ja, oké. Dus mensen, 4 juni het Paard in Den Haag. Jullie zijn allemaal welkom om in te loggen en dan kun je gratis naar onze livestream kijken. En dan hopen we dat we jullie een uur en een kwartier kunnen vermaken met Hollands beste death metal band Pestilence, uiteraard.
Hartelijk bedankt, Patrick. And Patrick, to go to the last part of this interview, I mean to say thank you very much for have made this interview possible. And I want to hand you over the microphone of Man Messiah Radio for you to invite all your friends, all your fans to support the band, to buy the band's previous album, and to make sure to buy this brand new opus, Exitivm, which will be released on June 25th, 2021 via this prestige Agonia Records. With all the restrictions still going on all over the world, I see that you have different shows and festivals already scheduled for 2021. What's the last part of 2021? Balingen, Bang Your Head, Wacken Open Air, and many shows in your home country, Netherlands, with the support of this great band, Misanthropia, this great melodic black metal band out of Nijmegen, Netherlands, whom we had this great interview to talk to, Dennis and Bram. And you also have 2022 shows booked like Heidelberg Death Fest, Thunder Metal Fest, Eindhoven Dynamo, and many, many other shows. First of all, how are the vaccination process going in the Netherlands, and will the 2021 shows still take place?
I have not heard anything else that it's not going to happen. So I think it's still happening, since it's pretty much in the Netherlands and in Germany. Probably we need to be tested, and if we're tested negative, we can go and travel and do this. And this is what I've understood and what I've heard. So it's, for me, it's still a go. So hopefully Wacken can happen still as well for us, because Wacken, I have never played Wacken before, and I know this is going to be very special to me. And if not 21, hopefully 22. But we also have 2022 for the Testimony of the Ancients tour. So we have the hopes that everything will continue as planned. If we have to take the test, we'll take the test. But, to be honest, I'm not going to take the vaccine. So this is something that, my body is holy, and I'm not going to put something in my body just for me to travel and perform, because it's, for me, I think it's too risky. city, right? So then I'll just keep it closer to my home, and hopefully we can make these shows work. It's just a reality right now. There's nothing I can do about it other than wait and see how this will evolve, and hopefully shows will happen again, because I see tours are being planned right now. So we had this tour planned with right before COVID hit the US with Possessed. This is also something that will be happening for 22. So all the fans that bought a ticket for those shows, we are working really hard to get this back on the road for the US in 22. So Pestilence is still active and alive, and hopefully we can get things rolling again.
I guess for the North American fans, this, what you just said, is a very great, awesome news, because if you travel last year, they wouldn't have heard any music of the new album, right? And now they get to witness also new songs of this great new album, Patrick.
Well, yeah, hopefully after this Testimony of the Ancient thing, we can start planning our tour with Possessed, and we will be focusing on our new album Exitivm, but also make sure that we play all the classics for the fans.
Okay, Patrick, to conclude this interview, I'm going to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio for you to thank whomever you want to thank.
Yeah, well, especially I want to thank you to start off with for giving me this great opportunity. Metal Messiah has been awesome and is awesome, will be awesome all the time. You know, having all these great artists to give them a platform and get all the information out there. And second of all, I want to thank all the fans for all the support that guys and girls have been giving me throughout all these years. And you have to understand that it's not always very easy to make a living being a musician, but it really comes from the heart, like death metal is supposed to be. It comes from the heart, and I'm sending out all my death metal love to all of you, all the listeners, and have a great time and have a great day.
Before I leave, Patrick, I would kindly ask you to say hello to Bartek, say hello to Phil for me, say hello to band members, Rvtger Van Noordenbvrg, say hello to my good friend Joost Van Der Graaf, and to my great friend as well, Michiel Van Der Plicht, please.
I will give them your regards, tell them that you said hi, but from this point, I want to say hi to the guys in the band, and thank you so much for helping me out in creating the best Pestilence album ever, Exitivm. Hey jongens, ontzettend bedankt dat jullie deel uitmaken van Pestilence. Ik ben ontzettend trots op jullie, en hopelijk kunnen we samen nog heel veel mooie muziek maken.
Oh, geweldig, geweldig. Okay, Patrick, once again, I wish you all the best with the band Pestilence. I wish you all the best with this great new album, this great new masterpiece, as you just said, Exitivm. And yes, once again, thank you very much for have opened your doors for me once again, Patrick. And it was great talking to you again.
We'll do it again next time, man. And when we're in the US, I'll make sure that we hook up again, and we can do maybe like a little tour interview, how it's going and all this stuff.
Yeah, but believe me, this time when I'm in the Netherlands, because my son lives in Amsterdam, I usually stay in Amsterdam, but I will head up to Enschede.
Oh, yeah, man, that would be awesome. I don't drink any alcohol, so I'll be drinking coffee, or I'll have a juice or something like that. You can get all fucked up.
Okay, like I always say, metal on, and bye-bye.
Cool, man. Take care.